Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. What you're about to watch here is a cabinet assembly video. Now all of these clips were taken from my Instagram stories, but it showcases the full assembly process from parts fresh off of CNC. So hope you enjoy the video and thanks for watching. Alright, so I'm getting ready to assemble this cabinet here. And I kind of just want to go through and show you everything the CNC does in preparation for assembling the cabinet. So first off, we got the label here that has all the information we need for this part, what cabinet it goes to, and the dimensions and all that. So I'm just referencing my drawing here. So it's this cabinet here, so kitchen cabinet 1, and then I just go to the cart and I find all the parts that say kitchen cabinet 1. So no more labeling, okay, by hand. And then second off, you see all these holes here on the drawing. Every hole on this drawing was machined by the CNC. All these pilot holes for the screws. See along the back here, all these pilot holes. So there's a fixed shelf. So pilot holes through the ends, precisely where the fixed shelf is, through the back, around the whole perimeter. And then on the tops and bottoms, going down into the ends. And then it also cuts the 5mm holes for the drawer slides right there. And then the hinge plates. Now these 3 holes means that it's the top hinge plate. That's a parameter I have set, or rule that I made. And then all the shelf holes as well. So now if we go look at the parts, you'll see all these holes here. They're drilled on the CNC. There's the 3 holes. That means this is the top of the part. We got the blind dados going right here for the fixed shelf. And then the 5mm holes for the drawer slides. Now I have the dados set back. I think it's like 1.5 inches is what I put it at. Yeah, so 1.5 inches in from the front and back. And then on the shelf, it machines a little, a tongue there, right? So your edge banding, so it's not a full, it's a blind dado. And then also you can see the pilot holes for the screws, precisely located exactly in the center of the part. Okay. It's got the pilot holes for the tops and bottoms, right there. And then even on the back has the pilot holes going all the way around the perimeter, and then even on the fixed shelf. So when you put your back on, you don't have to measure or draw lines to mark where that shelf is. It's already done. Go ahead and grab a drawer side here, show you how precise this is. So there's the 3 holes. I set that right there. They're exactly located where they need to be, and this is sitting exactly flush right on top of that fixed shelf right there. Extremely precise. And then for the 5mm hinge plates, we use these the 5mm dowel inserts right there. So these just line up right there, and they plug in. Plug in right there, just push them in. And now because these are 5mm holes, what we use are these little Euro screws right here, these guys. So what's really cool about this is that you can go ahead and pre-attach your slides and your hinge plates before you even assemble the cabinet. Okay, just like that. And then these are a posi drive. Screw them down, and they're locked in. So now before we even assemble the cabinet, we have the hinge plates and the drawer side mounted. So it's just the benefit of the CNC. It does all this work for you and speeds up the process. So now before I assemble the cabinets too, what I do is I dress up and I sand all the edge banding and fine tune that. Now we have it dialed in really close on the edge bander, but it is not totally flush, especially on the bottom side. It's more flush on the face, which is really flush, but it's still a sharp edge because we turned off the radius because more often than not it like kind of cuts into the pre-finish. So this is still a very sharp edge, and then we're a little proud over here. And also too, the end trimmers leave just a hair proud So there's a little bit of work to fine tune the edge banding off of the edge bander. So my process for that is I just take a block, just a couple swipes, and flush out that side on the edge banding. Then I have this router bit. This is a dedicated setup. I never change this because I use this for, this is a dedicated setup for this process. It's called a no-file bit. It's pretty gunked up right now with glue, edge banding glue. I gotta clean it. But I have like 4 or 5 of these bits. And it's basically like a flush trim that has a tapered curve down to a 1/16 roundover. So it's not, it's like an elongated curve. So it's not a true roundover. And so you could dial in the roundover slightly as you, to get it exactly where you want it. So very nice bits for this. So anyways, I have this thing set. So what I do is I just run it. Real quick on both sides. Just like that. And now the way I have it set, it just barely puts a bevel on it. So I'm not eating into the pre-finish. And then a piece of sandpaper, just a couple swipes, and just very lightly break that. And then a little sand there. And then I always just barely round over the edges like that. So with this slight round over and then these, it kind of makes like a little intentional break where all these land flush when the box goes together. So yeah, just a little break there, a little break there, just a quick couple swipes. And that way the edge banding is fully tuned up, sanded, and all the corners are eased prior to assembly, so you don't have to go through and do that again after the box is assembled. You just do that here now, and then so once you assemble the box, you're done. So okay, now the next step I do is I go ahead and I take all the labels off, because that's just a lot easier to do now than take off once the cabinet's assembled, with all the parts being horizontal and vertical, even on the back. And then a further step I do, you'll see I have the biscuit joiner out here, is that I pre-biscuit slot the ends going into the tops and bottoms. Okay. I don't like the blind dados on the ends. I do love them for a fixed shelf, for our drawer stretchers, and or vertical partitions inside the cabinet, but for the ends, where the ends go flush to the cabinet, to the tops and bottoms, I don't like the blind dados there. I have a few reasons. But it's just a preference of mine. So I feel like we get a tighter and cleaner joint on the inside than having the blind dado joint on the tops and bottoms. Now that's just me, and I just feel that using biscuits just helps immensely with assembling the cabinet. They just go together that much better. And you might think this is a wasteful extra step because I'm just using them for alignment, but it goes very quickly because I do not use my tape measure. I just reference the machine on the sides of the parts, right? And it just goes very quickly. So I'm not marking and measuring. I'm even pre-slotting the backs because I do the same thing to the backs. So I'm pre-slotting this now before I'm even assembling the cabinet. That's because I'm referencing each corner, right? There's no measure or marking, right? No tape measure, so it just goes very quick. Once the cabinet's assembled, same thing. I'm just going to reference all the corners real quick, and then that thing's just going to lock itself in. So that's just another step that I do. I think the boxes just go together a lot better when you do that, and easier. And to me, a little bit extra time instead of just trying to hold it there with your hands flush and stapling it or nailing it. So I used to do it a lot, but I started doing it like this, and I like it. So I don't mind spending that time doing that. And yeah, so now it's time to assemble, and I'll show you guys the box when we're done. Okay, now when it comes to order of assembly, I always do the fixed shelf or drawer stretchers or any vertical center partitions first. Lock those in the blind dados and just get those locked in, flush it out, just screw them in, right? So now I have the two ends and the fixed shelf together, and then just plant on the bottom, right? I have the biscuit slot, so that's what makes that so good, is that it just holds it nice and flush. So you don't got to be sitting there trying trying to hold this flush with one hand and stapling it, and you might get a little off. And you gotta take a hammer and work it, and then try to flush it out down here. The biscuits just hold it right where it needs to be. I do one tack there, and then pre-drill and screw it off. Now when it comes to pre-drilling these, I have this dedicated countersink bit with the stop collar, right? So that countersink is the same and consistent every time. I just put as much pressure as I want on this, and it will never drive too deep or too little. Now to pre-drill that thing, and then I'm driving 2.5 inch screw in here, okay? I know a lot of you guys use 1.25 screws or 1.5 or whatever, but I like a 2.5 inch screw. It grabs. That really grabs it. That thing is rock solid. It's not going anywhere. And a rule of thumb for screws, whatever the thickness of your material is, your screw should be at least 1 inch longer than that. So again, that was what I was taught. Whatever your thickness is, your screw should be at least 1 inch. So in this case, it should be at least 1.75 long screws. I'm using 2.5s, okay? This thing is freaking, it's solid. See how tight that joint is, right? When you use the blind dados, I mean, it's hit or miss on these inside joints on the outside ends, the tops and bottoms. But I mean, it is just airtight. Yeah. Now I got the top left, so you can see the biscuit slots. There are a couple biscuits. That thing's gonna lock itself in, screw it off real quick, and then onto the back. So now see how my biscuit's in right here. Okay, on the top. I'm gonna try to do this one-handed. Just take your top. Come on, just set it there. Get it flush. Right there. And you can see the biscuits just locking in flush on both sides. It's locked in flush. You don't have to sit here and play around with the staple gun with one hand trying to flush these out and hold it and then work your way down the end. The biscuits just lock it in. See how fast that is, and then now I can just go ahead and screw it off. I don't even really have to mess around with the staple or nail gun. So it's going to be the same thing for the back. I already pre-slotted the back, so once I screw this off, once I screw this down, now the box is assembled. So now I'm just going to take the machine and again just reference here, reference here, reference here, reference here, same on the bottom, very quickly, less than a minute, and that back is going to do the same thing there on all four sides. Lock itself in. Don't got to mess around with staples or nails. I can just screw it off. And yeah, it just goes together so much easier just using the biscuits, and using the referencing from the machine without having to pull your tape just makes it worth it to me. It's not much time at all. Okay, so now we're getting ready to put the back on. You'll see I have the biscuits on there. Okay, on each corner. Already pre-slotted these. Notice that the pre-drilled holes right there, that's for the fixed shell, so I know this is the top. Okay. Again, I'm going to do this one-handed. So you see the biscuits, fully lock that in all the way around, flush on all sides. So it's not going anywhere because the biscuits are opposing each other, going each direction. So now I can just go ahead and straight screw that off. I know these pre-drills are exactly centered on that fixed shelf, so no marking and measuring and drawing a line. Just go ahead and screw this off and label the cabinet, put some skids on, and we're done. When it comes time to screw on the backs, I go around, I pre-drill with my little drill bit right here. I pre-drill all the way around, and then I go ahead and fill up all the holes with screws first. I don't go around, pre-drill and put one screw at a time, pre-drill, put one screw at a time. I think this is more efficient, do it this way. Do one operation all the way through, just go around, put all the screws in, so now I can just go around, drill, real quick, okay? I'm using 1.5 inch screws here, right? Again, that's my minimum because this is a 1/2 inch, right? So I'm 1 inch longer than that. That's the rule for the screw length. And yeah, that's the back. So for my skids, I went ahead and cut my skids, right? These are just for sliding around on the concrete in the shop. I got cut 2 of them. I always make this out of pre-finished material because it slides very nice on the concrete. And I always do this the same way. I know this might seem a little not necessary, but to me it's about consistency, and even where it doesn't matter, it's just a habit, right? Be consistent in what you do. It just makes your work that much cleaner and better where it does count. So I always just like stack the front one on top of the 3/4, right? So spaced 3/4 up from the front. And I'll take that and the back one, I'll just line it up with the bottom of the back. So the 1/2 inch back is still exposed. And I just tack it with a few staples, and that's it. That's how I put the skids on. Okay, now the cabinet's fully assembled. The last step, I take this little guy and I go around and I break all the outside edges because they're very sharp. And as you can see, that plywood does cut you. I cut myself just handling one of these parts before I assembled it. So, just very quickly. Just hit all these corners. And that's it. Now this cabinet's done. Don't forget to label your cabinet. Alright, so there we go. We have a fully assembled cabinet. Everything's screwed together. All the edge banding is sanded. All the corners and edges are nice and eased. Right? Now those little tiny intentional breaks, right, where they meet flush. Okay. Nice tight joints on the inside. Right there. It's airtight. And those are the dados. See how tight those were? All the machining was done on the CNC, right? All the edge banding work was done prior to assembly. And yeah, once the cabinet's assembled, you're done. So if you made it this far, thanks for checking it out and following along. I did a deep dive there. But yeah, that's for the most part my assembly process for every cabinet. It goes really quickly once you get in the groove and the zone, and slap these boxes together in no time. So yeah, hope this helped, and thanks for watching. Catch y'all later. All right, well, thanks for making it to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed this cabinet assembly process. Now, again, apologies for the format being in portrait mode, as I took these clips for Instagram stories a while back, but I figured since they're already done, I'd share them anyways here on YouTube. I do plan to make better content, more quality footage going the correct way in landscape mode in the future, with more detailed assembly videos for different processes and different scenarios. This was just a very basic box. So anyways, hope you enjoy the video. Check out these previous videos to see, be somewhere up here to show you how I draw these in SketchUp using the extension cabinet sense and go about design prior to CNC cutout. So again, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all on the next one.